Maybe I might call her later, no rush. She's a slam beat girl from Decatur. When we first spoke, I could tell she had flavor. Her voice box smelled like green hour later.
What's up? Got me feeling like an AC. Cruising with the top down, the weather still amaze me. Callie's been good, so I'ma keep taking dates with her. But if she cheat on me, I promise I'ma find better. They say New York's a cold chick with an attitude, that is true. But it's expensive if I had to move, so I might do Texas if I had to choose. A lot of people tell me that there ain't much to do, but shoot, I'm in the mood for a better view. You must be tripping if you think there's not a better you. And I gotta see, hey, you the hottest, but my AZ lady is modest. I know, I think I could find me a better woman, some girl who defines me as she do it. She knows what's inside me, so wrong. Myself got me finding that I love Cali. I think I could find me a better woman, some girl who defines me as she do it. She knows what's inside me, so wrong. Myself got me finding that I love Cali.
Yeah. Special edition tonight, everyone. Special edition tonight. This is the C&J Sports and Beer Podcast. Saturday night special is what I'm going to call it. On, I guess you can say we still on July 16, 2016 on this lovely Saturday night. Where's everybody at right now?
She's the one for me.
Some of y'all probably out at the club doing y'all thing, which is not bad at all. Not bad at all. That was just me trying to be a DJ as I cue the music down and get everything queued up to spend a lovely moment with you, ladies and gentlemen, out there tonight. Like I said, this is a C&J Sports and Beer Podcast, Saturday night special, broadcasting live here from the beautiful city of Portland, Oregon. What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? Hopefully you had a great weekend. If you're like me, the weekend is over on Saturday. I don't roll with the whole Sunday as a part of the weekend. Sunday is the resting day for me, and that's the day where, you know, I get prepared for the long week. And Saturday is my weekend. Friday ain't my weekend. That's the end of the work week. But for me, Saturday is the weekend. So as you guys all know, I'm Charlie, one half of C&J Sports and Beer Podcast. Tonight, a late night, slightly before midnight, I decided to post a video, and for no reason. I mean, I guess it's time for the C&J Sports and Beer Podcast to finally connect. We've been around for about 9 months, and 4 of those months we've been recording live. The first 5 months we spent practicing, figuring things out, working on equipment, trying to think of better ways to engage everyone within the YouTube community that loves talking sports, listening to individuals who talk sports, love drinking beer, or watching individuals give beer reviews. So, you know, we spent, about 5 months, I want to say, practicing and figuring things out, having conference call conversations, just via iPhone with the headset in, talking to each other, running through a show as if we were going live. Then we are working with this one online based or a web-based software, which allowed us to speak to each other and listen to our playback. And it was just housed online. And that's just something we kept as a secret. No one knew about it other than my boy Jared and I. So it's been one thing that we've thought about and spoke about doing since we met each other. And finally, it's here. So this has been a fun side project. Myself and my boy Jared, we look forward to the future, and we look forward to, engaging with you guys, and hopefully you guys engage with us. A few weeks ago, we hit our milestone show, 5-10 under the belt, big boy status, if you know what I mean, which was a great feeling for us. Our 10th show by far, hands down, was the best show that I think we've put on. Now, I'm sure that's going to change as we continue to grow and continue to move this show forward. But we broadcast it live as usual. Both Jared and I were in the same location in my I guess you can say this is my home office, my living room, my studio, my this, my that. The support was heavy, nearly 175 views. And some people probably watching 175 views. Oh, that's nothing. Well, for us, that's big. Another reason why I say that's big, because, we're just getting started. And, we peak somewhere between 45 and 55, maybe 60 views. So when that video hit 100 plus the following day, like I said, it was a big thing for us. And like I said, I appreciate all the support from everyone who watches live with us or even watch on the playback. You know, I appreciate it. Jared appreciate it. As a whole, we appreciate it. So things are on the upswing and we're enjoying it. And we're just trying to move forward in a positive way and bring you guys content that we hope and expect you guys to enjoy, because hey, everyone has an opinion and everyone opinions stink except for ours. So I'm glad you guys are rocking with us or have been rocking with us. This is going to be fun. And like I said, we can't wait. And until, you know, we get a large number of followers and a large following, so we can present better quality, go out and experience things, be a little bit more creative with what we do to bring on a better show for you guys. So that's that right there. So, I mean, we've been, like I said, we've been doing these videos. We have 10 videos. We've been in the works with this project for about 9 months. And at the same time, everything is good, but we haven't put it out there in a major way. I mean, we haven't like knocked on doors and told everyone about it. We haven't always shared it. We haven't found other avenues to present the show like we think about presenting it in our head, or even putting it out there so individuals can listen to it. So it's about that time, I think, that we introduce ourselves to the YouTube community, because I mean, the YouTube community is like a family. I mean, there's people out there, you know, who start and within a year time, they have, you know, thousands and thousands of individuals following them and want to see them in front of the camera every day. And that's something we're looking forward to. But the YouTube community is big, and we want to be a part of that YouTube community, not only for our sake to become popular or to bring on a large following, but to have fun and collaborate with individuals who are within the YouTube community and want to have fun as well. So I guess tonight is one of those days where I figure, you know what, I guess it's time for me to introduce the C&J Sports and Beer podcast. And I know it's kind of crazy. You know how I'm going to do this without Jared? How am I going to introduce C&J Sports and Beer podcast solo? I'm sure, and Jared and I, we've talked about it, but he's going to get out and introduce himself to you guys so you can understand what he's about and know that he's just not the co-host of this show. He has a great mind. He's a creative person. We both are creative individuals, and I'm sure he's going to get around to doing that. But I was like, you know, what the hell? Let me go ahead and get this pumped out so I can get it off my chest, and I can go ahead and forget about it, and I can put it out there. And hopefully someone who's watching this video live via Google Plus, or even on YouTube, if you're just browsing around, you're like, you know, I think I can rock with that guy. Let me look at a couple of their old videos. I can rock with these two dudes. I think I'm going to tune in each and every time that they decide to stream live. So with that being said, side note, I mean, if you follow the show, you know we love beer, and we always try to implement beer when we're broadcasting live. Cracking something cold is our goal. That's what we strive to do. So tonight I'll be drinking deep all the way from Brooklyn, New York. Boom, right there. Can you get that? Can we get that in there? Yeah, we can get that in there. Yeah, that looks good. 6 Point Brewery, Sweet Action Cream Ale. This is about my third time, if I'm not mistaken, having this beer. So understand this is not a beer review. And if you watch the show, we don't necessarily give in-depth beer reviews. We just pick a beer or choose a beer that we would like to try or we haven't tried in you know, a number of months. And we want to bring that to the show, have it, drink it, talk about it, and let you guys know how that beer make us feel, or, you know, the times before when we had it, this, that, and the third. We don't do in-depth reviews. I mean, there's a large community of individuals that do that, and we're trying to, you know, stay in our lane and be better at the things that we do. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and crack this bad baby open. Oh, that sounds good. I'm going ahead and give a nice little pour. I will show you guys, but it's a cream ale, so I want to get as much of a nice, lovely head that I could get. It's pouring strong. Maybe I should have tilted the glass a little bit, but it'll get to where it needs to be here. Beautiful in color, that's for sure. Coming in at 5.2% ABV, That's alcohol by volume. If you do not know, 34 IBUs. Beer is culture. 6-point craft ales. Now, the first couple of times I've had this, it was always on tap. I've never had it out the can. So each time I've had it, it was on tap. Never out the can. So this will be the first time I'm having this beer out of the can. As soon as it settles down a little bit, I'm gonna go ahead and dive into that. But I love drinking and I love speaking. So tonight you're gonna get both. You're gonna get me speaking. You're gonna get me drinking, and I hope you enjoy it. But before we get started, C&J Sports and Beer Podcast is available for streaming, YouTube and Google Plus. All you have to do is just search C&J Sports and Beer Podcast. You will find us. You can hit us up on Twitter at CJ Sports Beer Pod, at CJ Sports Beer Pod. You can find us on Twitter, Tumblr. As I said in previous of our weekly episodes, we started heavy, or at least I started heavily with the blog and, typing out things that were going on my mind and, in the sports world, or my take on things that wasn't audio. And then I kind of slowed down, especially when we got into the swing of producing, our first 10 shows. So, if you would like to follow us on Tumblr, and most of the time, or at least lately, I haven't necessarily been, posting blogs, but I've just been having individuals, see what I'm drinking, posting my beer picks, throwing a few words in on the beer that I'm drinking, this, that, and the third, check-ins at breweries and whatnot, giving my thoughts on that. So if you want to follow us or follow the blog, all you have to do is www.tumblr.com/blog/sports and beer podcast. Boom. There you go. You're connected with us on Tumblr if you do that. And for all the audio listeners, the individuals who want to listen to us while they're running, while they're working out, while they're in the car, whatever the case may be, SoundCloud and iTunes, C&J Sports and Beer Podcast. That's where we can be found. So you can stream and listen to us live, audio only, no video, audio only for that. So I guess the best way I think I can promote or how should I put it? Let you guys know what the C&J Sports and Beer Podcast is all about is use and how. That's the best way for me to really tell you what the C&J Sports and Beer Podcast is all about. So here we go. And before we start, now I can give you, this. Look at that. Glass courtesy of Offbeat Brewing, my favorite brewing company in Southern California, in the beautiful city of Escondido. If you ever find yourself in San Diego County, if you ever find yourself deep in Southern California, if you ever find yourself in Escondido, please stop at this place. Please stop at Offbeat Brewing Company. If you're a fan of Stone, you will be a fan of Offbeat Brewing. Let me go ahead and just sip this. I like that, and I can rock with that. So here we go. 5 W's and how. Who, what, when, where. We all know where we're going with that. How. Who, what, when, where, why, how. Who. You wondering who? Who is the C&J Sports and Beer Podcast? Basically, the masterminds behind the C&J Sports and Beer Podcast, not one, but two. Me, Charlie. My sidekick, Jarrett, the co-host. I come to the table with a background in high school as a high school player, some minor college play. I'm a youth and high school basketball coach, and I'm a fan of all major sports. I've worked in the beer industry for a number of years, mixed between craft and non-craft. And I'm just, I guess I'm not as opinionated, but when I do give my opinion, especially on sports, I try to be as detailed, and I give or try to pump out all the research I can do when I bring my take to the table. And that can be in a group text message or in a group email or even barbershop talk or even bar talk. I would try to make sure when I'm speaking, I'm giving the individuals the best information readily available via iPhone, via iPad, whatever the case may be. I can get my hands on to make sure my take is well crafted and presented in a way to make you truly understand I know what I'm talking about. That's what I do. My boy Jared, a follower of all major sports, a professional college and adult league basketball and rec league basketball player and soccer player. So, you know, he gets out there a couple of times a week, getting in the action with the 30 and above guys on the basketball court and on a soccer field. So we're both two individuals, you know, we have a sports background, but when it comes to professional sports, neither one of us are professionals. We've never played professional football, basketball, baseball, soccer, boxing, whatever the case may be. But we're highly educated and trying to bring the best facts and the best take to the table when we're talking sports. And I can honestly say some of our battles are so intense that, you know, neither one of us want to be wrong, and we don't necessarily always want to be right, but we want to make sure that we prove each other. Me, I prove Jared, your take is garbage, my take is better. He's the same way. So we're not necessarily saying a take is wrong. We just want to make sure our take is better than the next. So when we're talking sports, we come with it, and we don't sugarcoat anything. We come with it. We bring the best and the best of the best, especially with the individuals who are in the barbershop, they're at the bar, or they're sitting on the couch and they're the ultimate couch coach. Those are the individuals that we battle with. And you know what? We do a damn good job at that. So who is the C&J Sports and Beer Podcast? Jared, Charlie. Boom. You have that explanation there. What do we do? We talk sports and we drink beer. It's a piece of cake, man. I can answer that anytime. No, really. What we do is, and to get this show rolling, what we do, you know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, shows broadcast on Monday. Tuesday, we somewhat take a break. Wednesday and Thursday and half day Friday, we try to craft or come up with the best. And when I say the best stories out there, but we put a spin on it because throughout the week, you know, we're working against individuals who are in this field. This is all they do. They have access to the teams, the players, the coaches. They have access to all these individuals we don't have access to. So we listen to the pros, but we try to take some of those same stories, throw a spin on it, and look at it from a total different way. And what I mean a total different way, I mean a total different way. So our take will probably have a little bit of the information that you may have already heard, but how we present it and the angle we go at it is totally different, which it should be, because no one wants to watch a watered down episode of two individuals who think they know a lot about sports, and maybe they do, but they are repeating some of the same thing that have already been said. So if you go back and you watch episode 1 all the way to episode 10 and even episode 11, we may be speaking on those same incidents or stories that are happening in sports, but I can tell you our takes are totally different. And you know, I've watched a few other sports podcasts on YouTube, and I can honestly say, and I'm not throwing any shade, but I can honestly say that some of the information that I've heard in watching individuals who I follow, a lot of the time they're telling me the same thing that I've already heard. And I'm an individual that listens to Mike and Mike for about a half hour in the morning if I get up early enough on my way coming from the gym. I'm a big supporter of Dan Patrick, so I listen to him all the time, not only inside the car, but if I miss a segment in the car, he's on the DVR, I listen to him. I listen to Colin Cowherd in the morning time when I'm in and out of the car, but that's another thing. If I miss a segment, he's on the TV. He has a new show on FS1 with my man Jason Whitlock called Speak for Yourself. I've been watching that show as well. And when I say big, I'm a big fan of First Take, a big fan of Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith. So I watch that. And then I do a lot of reading. I'm not a Sports Center top 10 plays or a Sports Center segment watching the news. I don't think I've watched a segment of Sports Center in about 3 years. So a lot of my information comes from individual shows, and I do a lot of reading. because, you know, I feel if I'm watching these individual shows, a lot of people aren't going to watch these individual shows. So they're not going to be able to hear another take with another take with another take mixed in with my take. So what we do is we listen to the pros, because the pros are like the teachers. They're the instructors. They're leading us down the path of where we should go. And then from there, we gather that information and we spit that information out in a way to help you guys understand it from the couch coach, the guy in a barber shop, or the guy at the bar. And when we're not talking sports, since we really love beer, we drink beer. And living in the city of San Diego, or just living in California in general, everyone in the beer community knows some of the best beer is brewed in the state of California. And a lot of people don't know some of the best beer is also brewed in this lovely state of Oregon. And if you're from Michigan, like I'm from Michigan, you know, one of, or just top 5. Some people want to throw Michigan down to 5, but a lot of people don't know. A couple years ago, California and Oregon and Michigan was the 3 best beer states in the United States. And in recent months, so let's just say recent years, Oregon has jumped above California, and Michigan is still there in the top 5. So we have our hands in the pot of three big states that brew beer. So, you know, outside of sports, we like to drink beer, and living down in San Diego, we had an option to drink just about all the best beers you can get in Southern California. So from Tijuana all the way up to Los Angeles, we had our hands in the opportunity to drink some of the best beers there. So when we're not talking sports, we're drinking beer. When we're not drinking beer, we're talking sports. So that's what we do here at the C&J Sports and Beer Podcast. Now, say when did this happen? Man, this probably happened, I want to say almost 3 years ago. I met Jared in 2012 through another mutual friend. And, you know, it took a year before, you know, he like warmed up and we warmed up with each other and we were cool and we were hanging with each other, and the mutual friend wasn't in the mix. And when I found out he likes, you know, was a big sports fan, I'm like, cool, man, that's another brother just like me who's into sports. Already know he's in the beer because, you know, we hung out the first time. He was drinking some of the good stuff as I was drinking some of the good stuff. And you had other people who were drinking a party beer, which is all right because we met at a party. But, you know, eventually when you start hanging out with people and they're always drinking party beer, even when you're not at a party, something is wrong with that. So we automatically clicked when I noticed that he was an individual that enjoyed craft beer. But we super clicked when I found out that he was a big sports fan, and he's a Clipper fan representing the Clippers. Born and raised in San Diego, he's a big Charger fan. He represents SDSU, but he went to school at University of California at Irvine, one of those UCI. He went to school there, but he's also a big Florida Gators fan, and he's a big Louisville Cardinals fan. Don't ask me how that happened. I don't know. I mean, I'm affiliated or show affiliations with a few teams, but I'm not necessarily a diehard. And believe it or not, if I am a diehard of that team, I'm sure at some point in my life, you know, those teams were well connected with Michigan. So a lot of people say, well, how are you a Chicago Bears fan? I was like, well, I'm from Michigan. The Lions and the Bears play in the same division. So I got to see a lot of the Bears growing up. But anyways, when did this happen? I want to say this happened about 3 years ago, 2013, when we our friendship started to glue in, locked in tight, and we became like super friends. And it went from a shit talking conversation about basketball. So this was late 2012 when this happened. So this is about 6 months into, you know, Jared and I meeting each other. And we got on the court, we battled it out, and boom, results were there. And it all started with a basketball game competition, which led to a drinking competition, and results happened, boom. And then next thing you know, it turned into a sports debate. And from there, if it was a text message, it was an email, whatever the case may be, we debated sports, we talked sports, we debated sports, we talked sports over and over and over and over and over again. That's all we did when we were with each other, outside of, you know, just kicking it and being homeboys and supporting each other in a major way. So I want to say it was probably like early 15 or early 2015 or late 2014, Jared hit me up and he mentioned something about, a sports podcast. We should create a sports podcast. We should do this. We should do that. And at the time, I wasn't necessarily feeling it because just like, I like to talk sports with my homeboys. I don't necessarily like to put it out there in an open forum. That's just not what I want to do. But in 2015, I left the state of California, and I moved up to Oregon. So, the times that we would sit and have a beer and talk sports on the weekend or during a week when he was in town, whatever the case may be, we lost that time. And all we had was, our electronic devices, our iPad, our phone, and the email. And it got to the point where it's just like, you don't necessarily understand what a person is saying when they're saying it, especially when it's a written form. So when you read it, you're going to read it back how you think it should be said and how you think it should mean, although it's, the proof is in the pudding because it's there. And it got to the point where I guess Jared got fed up because last fall he hit me up, was like, yo, man, it's about time we start a sports podcast. And now that I'm up here in Oregon, I'm sitting here thinking like, man, there's a ton of sports podcasts on YouTube. Like, I don't want to go do something that there's already an outlet for, and if we did do just that, we have to find a way to be like better than these individuals who have been in the YouTube game already for years. So I kind of brushed it off, but then, in the back of my head, I'm thinking, what, Jared may be up to something. How can we be different? What can we do different? And that's when I said, what if we make it a sports and beer podcast where we talk sports and we talk beer? And we're still in our own lane because you have individuals on YouTube who, do sports wrap-ups. They do sports segments. They do sports podcasts. They do all of this. And then you have the group of individuals who do beer reviews on all types of beer. All right, well, let's come together. Yes, we're in the same lane or in the same avenue as the individuals that strictly talk sports and do sports wrap-up and sports reviews or game reviews on the Friday night game, or ESPN Friday night game or TNT Thursday night game or whatever, NBA on Saturday, NBA on Sunday. They do wrap-ups, game wrap-ups or whatnot. So we're in that lane, but where we're different is we add beer to the segment. And honestly, I haven't seen that yet. I could be wrong. It's not like I spend my whole entire day on YouTube searching for other outlets or out there or seeing what other individuals are doing, but I have yet to see a sports and beer YouTube channel just yet. And then I thought, the beer aspect, since we're not necessarily given a beer review, then yes, we're in the same lane as the individuals that give beer reviews, since, we're bringing beer to the table, but we're not necessarily giving in-depth reviews. And we're not trying our best to try all the beer that is out there. Certain beers that we want to try that we have never tried before. And we want to bring that to the table to see how we can draw other individuals in who may have had that beer, because, we can probably bring them on the show to give their input and their take on the beer. And they may be, the beer aficionado, the guru of beer reviews, and they can teach us something, but they can also brand themselves and also help us brand ourselves by putting it out there, because a lot of the individuals that we follow and we would hope to soon connect with, they've been in the YouTube community for a number of years. So, I thought, we're in a position where we have individuals that have been in their respective lanes, whether it's just sports and just beer. And we're two guys that want to go right in the middle of them and talk sports and talk beer. So when this happened, like I said, it was something that I brushed off, but after thinking about it and speaking more with Jared, we figured, it's time for us to go ahead, put the pen to the paper, jot down some ideals, brainstorm how we're going to do this. And next thing you know, the C&J Sports and Beer Podcast have just did a milestone show about 2 weeks ago, episode 11th last week. And this Monday, we will have episode 12. So things, like I said, they're on an upswing. Things are going great. And I can't wait for the future of this show. So if you want to know when it happened, I want to say it was talks late 2014, early 2015. I left fall 2015. We talked about it briefly. Mid fall 2015, we decided we were going to do it. And, we have been running with it since then. So that's that. Now we get to where does the show take place? Well, two different locations, actually. Two different locations. I'm up here in Portland, Oregon, southwest. So I'm on the west side of Portland. My buddy Jared lives in Orange County, Irvine. He lives in Irvine. So we broadcast from two different locations using Google Plus. Google Plus is something I had no idea about, or let's just say Hangouts. I wasn't pretty familiar with Hangouts until Jared mentioned it. So I'm sitting up here wondering, like, how are we going to do this? Are we going to Skype, record the screen, throw it into a software edit everything and push it out? Or, are we just going to, he record his take, I record my take. Somehow we edit it, match it up together, and then we move on. And Jared was like, well, have you ever heard of Google Hangouts? I've used them once. I didn't like it, but I hear great things about it. And it all made sense that we use something like that, since we wanted to implement the beer aspect. And that was like a smart thing, because you implement beer, you want to give the viewers a visual look. So, like, if you're listening to us on the go, you're at the gym, that doesn't matter to you. But if you're sitting down and you're comfortable and we're broadcasting live and you can't see the beer that we're drinking, then you returning is probably not going to be, a high percentage of you returning, because you actually want to see it. So we tested out a platform that allowed us to just do audio only, because I thought, maybe we should stick with audio since we don't have the equipment. And then I went on thinking, like, no matter if we have the equipment or we don't, we need to get it out there. So I was just like, let's test this Google Hangout thing out, and let's put it together and see where it takes us. And I was pretty blown away by Google Hangouts. I wish I would have known about Google Hangouts a long time ago. But when you have a Mac computer, you have everything you need right there inside the computer, and you can just go ahead and record on your computer, do what you need to do, edit everything, and boom, you can send it straight to YouTube. When you have someone else in the mix, especially if that person in the mix isn't in the same location as you, then it becomes hard. So, like I said, we record in two different places: Southern California, Pacific Northwest. Our show is scheduled for Monday nights, 7:30 p.m. until about 8:39 or 8:30, 8:45, 9. Hopefully not extending past 9:15 or close to 9:30, although we've been there before. But two different locations, two different states, same time zone, and we get it in. I mean, that's what we do. And we've been making it work. We've been making it work to where individuals who have watched it, who are friends of mine, newer friends who don't necessarily know Jared and know as much about our relationship, they wonder, like, man, how come Jared is never out hanging out with us? Man, you guys do the show together. Like, how come he's never around? And I have to explain, man, Jared's like 1,000 miles away from here. He's 1,000 miles south. He's in Southern California. He's nowhere near here. But people sit up here and think and assume, man, you guys broadcast together at the same time. Everything looks kind of like you're in the same location, but you're not. So when the show is being broadcasted, we're in two different locations, two different states, using Google Plus, aka Google Hangouts, through the web. It's live, unscripted, unedited, and we just go with it. So boom, there it is. Why? Like I said, this happened because, we got sick of just listening to each other's take and accepting it, to the point where it was just like, you know what? Let's let someone else determine who knows more about this subject versus that subject. I'm not saying that you don't know anything, and you're not saying that I don't know anything, but we need someone in the middle to be like, you know what, Charlie, what you said is great, but Jared is 100%, and he's 100% right, and vice versa, the same thing. So this is why it happened, and it's getting to the point where, we have hardworking jobs, we have our 9 to 5, we have our family we need to take care of, and those things right there. But you're never too old to do something fun, or get creative and do things you like. And since I really like sports, talking sports and drinking beer, I'm just like, you know what? let me do this. Let me do this. And if I'm doing it with anyone, I would prefer to do it with a good friend. And Jared is a good friend of mine. So this project has been great with him. I don't know how well or how enthusiastic I would be if I was doing this with someone else. I don't know if I would be willing to put in all that extra time that I'm willing to put in the extra time working with Jared if it were with someone else. And even when I thought about, maybe I should do this as a side thing to another side thing outside of doing it with Jared, do something else. It still come up just like I enjoy talking sports and drinking beer with my homeboys since I don't get that weekend time like I did when I was living in Southern California. So why this happened, like I said, we're two friends that enjoy talking sports. We enjoy beer of all kinds. Our relationship is only going to grow. So if there's any way I can do things and be with my friends, those individuals I love, I'm going to be all about it. And, although Jared is my friend, I consider him as family. So this happened because two individuals who are friends / family members decided, let's do something that makes us happy. Talking sports, watching sports, drinking beer makes us happy. We love doing it. Let's do it together. So that's why this happened. And that's why the C&J Sports and Beer podcast is what it is. And it's going to be here for a very long time. Now, how did this happen? Well, basically, I didn't told you that. And how it's going to continue to happen is us just working hard with each other, bettering ourselves, becoming more creative, trying to move away from those big stories and try to focus on some local things. What's going on in the sports community in Portland, what's going on in the sports community in Irvine, how's the beer scene in Portland, speaking to individuals that are out there in the beer game and it's their career and they want to come and express how they feel and show how passionate they are in making beer and promoting their beer and putting their beer out there. So for us to continue to get better and to make this something that people want to watch weekly, not only do we have to make sure our content is always on point, but we need to make sure we're getting creative. And, it's kind of hard to be super creative when you're not in the same place as another individual. But that's, when we become a little bit more proactive and take the initiative and go out there and do things solo, just like me tonight, presenting this solo show about the C&J Sports and Beer podcast, introducing YouTube to the C&J Sports and Beer podcast. And I'm just having fun, a little freestyle off the top of the head. I have a running notes of things that I need to hit, but most of the time, this is what we do. Like I said, it's unscripted. We study things, we figure things out, and then we just have sketch notes and boom, it's there. So like I said, for us to get better and how is this show going to continue to go and go and go and grow and grow and grow, we have to work on ourselves. One, we have to work as a team. Two, we have to get out there and further promote the show. But at the same time, when we're promoting the show, we have to network and find individuals that want to come on to the show, find guests that want to come on to the show and bring a take, seek information and seek knowledge on how to properly review a beer. Now, we don't necessarily want to be beer reviewers, but we want to make sure when we are telling you about a beer, once we get the words out of our mouth and that's been developed and created in our head, how this beer makes us feel, we want to try to give, not an in-depth review, but we want to try to provide individuals with a decent review to where a person's like, that's not like Massive Beer Reviews. That's not like Greg's Beer Reviews. That's not like Craft Beer Nation Beer Reviews. But those two dudes, they're going to make me spend some money and go out and try beer. So in order for us to, like I said, continue to move forward, we have to work on ourselves, work together, promote, network, and make sure the content and the creativity is there. And like I said, we're about to be 12 shows in. We're still learning, not necessarily learning how to use YouTube or learning how to use equipment. We're just learning how to better engage with the individuals that watch us. So we don't have a large following just yet, but soon when we get there, we'll understand what we need to do. And we have individuals that watch us every week. They're not necessarily big YouTube individuals, so when they see it go up on Facebook, they click on it. But we've received nothing but positive information saying, I like what you guys do. If you can do this, it'll be great. But no matter what, I'm gonna be there to support you. So we need to find ways to engage with the individuals that may run across this video on the left or right side of the screen on YouTube, and they're determined, should I click it or should I not click it? So that's what I'm saying. We got to work with each other, continue to bring the great content, continue to, be creative, find ways to be creative, work better on ourselves, work better with each other, network. And you know what? Like I said, this will continue to roll and roll and roll and go and go and go for a very, very, very long time. So, there you have it. And hopefully you enjoyed yourself sitting here listening to me as I talk about the C&J Sports and Beer podcast, and I sip on this beer. Hey, if you like sports, hit us up, whether it be Google Plus, whether it be Twitter, whether it be SoundCloud, whether it be iTunes, whether it be YouTube. Hit us up if you like sports and you feel like you want to get on and give your take, and you want to be in the community that we're starting. If you're a big beer drinker and you're a beer reviewer at the small level and you want to broaden your horizons and put your work out there through us, hit us up, because we can use your help in learning how to review beer, and you can use our help. If you want to be a guest on the show, if you're a person who loves sports, love talking sports, go ahead, hit us up. We don't mind having someone on. Just understand we're on the West Coast time zone, so time-wise may be hard if you're on the East Coast. But if you're on the West Coast, or if you just could care less or couldn't care less about time, hit us up, because we want to be able to engage with individuals who like to talk sports, who love to drink beer, and who love to give their opinion and give a take. And I social media outlets, you already know, and I drop this every time we do a regular show. I can't tell you how many times I name drop our social media outlets, but you can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Google Plus. You can find us on SoundCloud and iTunes. You can find us on YouTube. Last but not least, Monday night, clear your schedule. Tune in. Episode 12. The details of the show can be found on our Google Plus page. Until then, I'm Charlie, and I'm out. Later, y'all. Enjoy your night. Enjoy your evening. Get ready to enjoy your Sunday, because you know what? The work week is just about to start, and we're getting closer and closer and closer to hump day, and then we'll get closer and closer to the weekend. So enjoy yourselves. Love you. I hope you love me. C&J Sports and Beer podcast is signing off. Have a good night.
I'ma find better. This ain't the yolks of cold shit with an attitude that is true, but it's expensive if I had to move. So I might do Texas if I had to choose. A lot of people tell me that there ain't much to do, but shoot, I'm in the mood for a better view. You must be tripping if you think there's not a better you. And I gotta see, ain't you the hottest? For my AC lady is modest. I know, I think I can find me a better woman. Some girl who defines me and how she do it. She knows what's inside me, so one through myself got me finding that I love Cali. I think I can find me a better woman. Some girl who defines me and how she do it. She knows what's inside me, so one through myself got me finding that I love Cali. I know what I do it all for Cali. I know what I lose it all for Cali. I know what my only girl is Cali. I know what to, cause all I love is Cali.
I got this girl, California, A. Everybody wants to meet her cause they heard she's paid. When you get close enough, you can't help but stay. I can cheat a little.